So Alan asks, I'm curious about the appeal of having a security DXT over integrating with VRP vendors, VRP aggregators like HackerOne. Do you plan on releasing your dataset to support something like this? So vulnerable researchers have a one-stop shop for disclosures, notifications. I'm also pasting it to Zoom here.
Sure. Okay. Just have a look at. I just missed the second part.
Yeah, sorry.
Sure. So it's not immediately clear what the appeal would be over something like HackerOne. Besides things like the fact that security TXT the goal is to become a standard. So it's something that maybe everybody can consider using, whereas HackerOne, obviously it's very popular, but not necessarily everybody is going to be using HackerOne, and we can't expect everybody to use it. So, and you can also see, I believe I talked about it a bit in the presentation, a lot of folks are putting their HackerOne details inside the security TXT file. So they're not oppositional, they can work together. About the dataset, the dataset's already been released, unless you were referring to something else.
Is here the link, for instance, your link? Maybe you can share on.
Yeah, sure, I can grab the link quickly.
Perfect, thanks so much. In the meantime, I mean, iAppraise is like amazing that you could process like 1 million requests per hour. I think the engineering is like really top notch in this paper. I was curious about so I think like half of the security TXT files were found in top 250K websites, more or less, 240.
Yeah, there's 241K.
Yeah, so I'm curious about like top 100 or top 1,000. I don't know if you like have a rough, guess. Like weights. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I'd have to refresh my memory by looking at our paper, but there is a figure that kind of breaks it down by top 100K, top 250, and I think the top 100K is like 30% or so, but I have to double check.
No worries. Okay, so we have 2 more questions. So I'm also they're here. So out of the 4.8K domains, so which countries? That's a better adoption.
Yeah, so actually, initially we wanted to include a geolocation component in our study, and we reached out to a few geolocation vendors, and unfortunately, we didn't receive a response from them in time to include it here. So we're going to leave that to future work, possibly during the longitudinal study, and by then we should be able to get some better information.
Yeah, and the second one is, what would be the incentives for websites to have a security TXT file? Like SEO advantages, for instance. I mean, other than that, advantage.
I'm not sure if, from an SEO perspective, if like things like Google, for example, would give more credence to somebody with security TXT file. Maybe when the standard gets finalized, that might happen. In terms of the benefits without a contact email, so without having any contact, obviously it's a moot point. The file is useless without any contact, which is why one contact is required, but it doesn't have to be the email contact. So you see a lot of sites will put like a HackerOne link or a link to an HTML page that outlines their policy in more detail, things like that.
I'm also so curious, related to the first question, like what are the like country code top level domains that you frequently encounter? Like, .nl,
sure.
I see, for example, .nl here.
Yeah, so there were a lot of regional ones. The Sweden domain was popular. I forget exactly, I think it was .se or something, or .sv. And we saw a lot of .coms, obviously.
Yeah.
That's it for the top 3. A lot of .des and so on.
Okay, perfect. Thanks so much. Oh, is there any stuff vulnerable to authentication or hijack?
Well, I just meant that I could imagine that you could get a lot of leverage if you could put false information in for somebody's security.txt file, and then they won't get notified, and there's other things you could do. And I won't hawk my own ideas about how to fix this with my own stuff, but anyway, I wasn't sure if anybody had looked at this.
Sure. Yeah. So as part of our study, we did look at what percentage of files were assigned with a OpenPGP clear text signature, which is the canonical way for a security.txt file to authenticate itself. And as part of that, one of the fields allows you to specify the location where the security.txt file is located. So that part gets signed as well. So that would be how they would basically provide authentication for the file. And then as well, I have things like encryption keys that you could use to contact whoever you need to talk to disclose the vulnerability. So we did analysis as to what percentage of files had those features. We didn't do anything deeper than that, like, for example, attempt to verify whether the keys work as advertised or things like that. That's up to future work.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking about the limitations of using PGP keys, but you were just assuming that. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, that's actually, the PGP stuff is part of the actual standard right now. That might change in the future. Maybe in the future there's optional ways to sign in other ways, but.
Right. No, I understood. I just didn't know. I didn't know enough about the standard to know if that had been a discussion topic, but okay. Thank you. You've answered.
Yeah, no problem.